For months, fans have been wondering why Nike, the largest sports company in the world, has been so silent about their most exciting young star. To be honest, the silence had been deafening. Nike finally apologized to Caitlin Clark, but let's be honest, this goes much deeper than just a banner or some big ad splashed across an arena.
This Nike billboard honors the all-time NCAA Division I scoring leader. I love that.
Nike appears to be rushing to make up for lost time after Adidas allegedly intervened with a sizable offer. But the real question is if this apology was sincere or whether they were only reacting out of concern that they could lose Clark to a rival.
He struck absolute gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal. So why in the world?
Let's go back a little now. The rising star of women's basketball, Caitlin Clark, had an amazing season. She led her team to new heights, shattered records, and enthralled spectators with her electrifying style of play. She is more than just a player. She is a game changer. Her first playoff game attracted 1.84 million viewers, making it the most viewed WNBA playoff game since 2000. You would think that Nike, having signed her to a huge contract, would be all over it, but you would be mistaken.
And with that, Nike has not done one thing to promote her. We have not seen any commercials, we have not seen any ads, we have not seen any Caitlin Clark merchandise, and we for sure as hell have not seen any Caitlin Clark.
It was strange how Nike signed one of the biggest names in women's basketball and then went radio silent for months. When LeBron James first joined the NBA, Nike didn't waste any time in releasing a signature shoe for him in his rookie year, ran advertisements everywhere, and made sure his face was on billboards across the nation. However, with Clark Crickets, this is where things get interesting. While Nike was sleeping, Adidas saw an opportunity. Adidas saw what Nike had missed and saw the opportunity to make Clark the face of women's basketball in the same way that Nike had made LeBron the face of men's basketball. Let's be honest, Adidas wasn't going to sit back and let Nike continue to fumble the ball, so rumors began to circulate that Adidas was prepared to swoop in with a $30 million deal for Clark. However, this wasn't just about the money. After months of ignoring Clark, Nike finally woke up and slapped a huge banner of her at the Indiana Fever Arena. It was a grand gesture, to be sure, but let's not be fooled. This wasn't just about honoring Clark's achievements. It was also Nike's attempt to prevent her from switching to Adidas. It wasn't subtle either. Nike was in full-on damage control mode. There are some concerns about the timeliness of this apology. For many supporters, this appears more like a response to Adidas's interest than a sincere show of support for Clark. Nike had months to promote Clark and her amazing season, but they waited until there was a true threat of losing her to a competitor before making their move. This is where things become even more interesting. It seems like Nike panicked when they saw they were about to lose one of the most marketable basketball players. Instead of simply accepting Nike's abrupt change of heart, Clark showed up at their event and gave a speech that left everyone talking. She used the platform to discuss the future of women's basketball, pointing out how the sport is growing with packed stadiums, increasing viewership, and fans who are finally starting to buy into the sport in a big way. She didn't stop there. Additionally, Clark stressed the significance of national television exposure for women's basketball. She made it clear that this isn't just a passing trend. Women's basketball is here to stay, and the more it's shown on a big stage, the more it will grow. It's obvious that Clark is thinking about the bigger picture. She's not just focused on her own career. She's advocating for the entire sport, which is where her upcoming signature shoe comes into play. It's not just any shoe, even though it's. Fans have been waiting impatiently for Clark's signature sneaker, and now that it's finally happening, it feels like Nike is trying to make up for lost time. However, the worst part is that this shoe should have been released months ago. Nike had the ideal chance to profit from Clark's amazing season, but instead they sat on their hands. Now that Adidas has entered the picture, Nike is frantically trying to get things back on track. It seems like they've only realized how valuable Clark is because Adidas was prepared to steal her away. The entire situation has left fans feeling a little doubtful. Was the promise of a signature shoe and the enormous banner a sincere apology, or was it just damage control? Nike has a history of favoring male athletes over female stars. Just look at how they've treated LeBron James and Kevin Durant in comparison to athletes like Serena Williams or even Diana Taurasi. If Clark had been a man, there's no doubt that Nike would have been all over her from the moment she signed that contract. So where do we go from here? The fact that Nike waited until Adidas made their move suggests that they were more worried about losing their golden goose than genuinely supporting her from the beginning. Although Nike's abrupt change of heart is a positive move, it seems like it's too little, too late. The ball is in Nike's court. Will they step up and give Caitlin Clark the promotion she deserves, or will Adidas swoop in and permanently steal her? Adidas has already made their intentions clear and is positioning themselves as the brand that genuinely cares about women's sports. They see the value in athletes like Caitlin Clark and are not afraid to invest in them. If Nike wants to keep Clark, they will need to do more than just put up a billboard and release a signature shoe. There is no doubt that the conflict between Nike and Adidas is far from over and will only get hotter from here on out. For the time being, everyone is watching Clark because she is more than just a basketball player. She's a trailblazer who is changing the game both on and off the court, regardless of whether she stays with Nike or moves to Adidas. One thing is certain: Caitlin Clark is the future of women's basketball, and the companies that support her will have a significant impact on that future. It's intriguing that Nike abruptly changed course to save their connection with Caitlin Clark, but it's no longer just about one athlete. The bigger concern is how this conflict between Nike and Adidas might permanently alter the landscape of women's sports. Let's be honest. Brands like Nike haven't given women's basketball the attention it deserves. They've treated their male athletes as the big money makers and given the women a fraction of the marketing budget. But with Caitlin Clark at the center of this new storm, things are starting to shift. And it's about time. Adidas didn't just see an opportunity. With Clark, they saw a movement. They understood that women's sports are gaining traction like never before. Viewership is up, fan engagement is at an all-time high, and people are finally tuning in. Adidas recognized that Clark wasn't just a rising star, she was the face of a revolution, and they wanted an offering. Clark a $30 million deal wasn't just about getting her to wear their shoes, it was about aligning themselves with the future of women's basketball and positioning their brand as one that truly supports female athletes. But for Nike, the stakes are even higher. They've always been the dominant player in the sportswear market, and losing Clark to Adidas would be a huge blow. Nike prides itself on being the go-to brand for the world's top athletes, and if they let Clark slip through their fingers, it would signal to the world that they're not as invested in women's sports as they claim to be. Let's talk about why this battle matters so much more than just a standout player. Caitlin Clark is a symbol of the future of women's basketball. Her games have consistently attracted large crowds, and her presence on the court has electrified the sport. However, it's not just about her performance during games. It's also about the influence she has off the court. Clark is an inspiration to young girls everywhere who aspire to play professional basketball, and the companies that support her will be regarded as leaders in the struggle for gender equality in sports. This is a moment that could redefine sports marketing, and brands like Nike and Adidas are beginning to realize that. However, let's not forget that Nike has made some serious mistakes. Even though they finally put up that enormous billboard of Clark, fans were frustrated for months, wondering why Nike was staying silent when Clark was breaking records left and right, and they felt that Nike was taking her for granted. For years, women's sports have been overlooked, with brands investing far more in their male athletes. Their prospective $30 million offer to Clark demonstrates that they are doing more than simply talking the talk. Adidas has made it apparent that they view women's basketball as a significant business and that they are prepared to spend in it. This type of dedication is difficult to overlook, particularly in light of Nike's lackluster support at best. However, Nike is now rushing to make up for lost time. They're now realizing that they can't afford to lose Clark, and they're going above and beyond to keep her. The issue is it too late? Has Adidas already won the fight for Clark's allegiance, or can Nike persuade her to stay? For her part, Caitlin Clark seems to be playing it smart. She's not rushing into anything. Instead, she's using her platform to talk about the bigger picture, the future of women's basketball. At Nike's most recent event, she made it clear that she's not just focused on her own career. She's advocating for more national television exposure, more fan engagement, and more investment in women's basketball as a whole. That's what makes Clark so powerful. She's success is linked to the success of the sport. One thing is certain, Caitlin Clark will have a significant impact on the direction of women's basketball. Now, let's talk about those signature shoes once more. As everyone knows, a signature shoe is more than just a piece of merchandise. When Nike gives an athlete their own line of shoes, it's a statement that says the athlete is a star and worth investing in. However, for Clark, obtaining a signature shoe isn't just about achieving personal success. It's about what it represents for women's basketball as a whole. When LeBron James got his first signature shoe, it was a game changer. It showed the world that Nike was all in on him, that they saw him as the future of basketball. Now Clark is in a similar position. If Nike wants to show that they're serious about supporting women's basketball, they need to give Clark that same level of investment. A signature shoe would do more than just boost Clark's profile. It would signal to the world that Nike is finally ready to put women's sports on the same level as men's, but there's still the question of timing. Fans have been waiting for months for news of Clark's signature shoe, and Nike has been dragging its feet. Meanwhile, Adidas has made it clear that they're ready to go all in on Clark if she decides to make the switch. And let's be real, if Adidas gives her a signature shoe before Nike does, it's going to be a major win for them. So, what does all of this mean for the future of women's sports due to Clark's rise? Major brands are beginning to recognize that women's sports are a huge untapped market and that athletes like CL are demonstrating that there is a massive audience just waiting to be reached. Previously, female athletes were frequently ignored by major brands, with the majority of the attention going to their male counterparts. Whether sincere or not, Nike's apology is a sign that they're beginning to understand that they can't afford to lose Clark, and they're finally taking action to promote her the way they should have from the beginning. However, only time will tell. For now, all eyes are on Clark and the decision she'll make in the upcoming months. Whether she stays with Nike or moves to Adidas, one thing is certain. Caitlin Clark is more than just a basketball player. She's a force to change the game both on and off the court. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Will Nike finally give Caitlin Clark the promotion she deserves, or will Adidas step in and take her? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on this developing story. Nike made a big apology to Caitlin Clark, but the question still stands. Was it sincere, or were they just reacting to Adidas's offer? We appreciate you viewing, and we'll see you in the upcoming video.